Not after dark.
Get the fuck out.
All right, motherfucker, let's go.
Honestly, I really just had to piss. So I was like, let me get something.
How can I
Let me
set
say
Collins
something
off
to really piss Collins off, and then I'll let him go on a little rant for a bit, and then I can go piss.
Smart play.
No, but I actually did have something when Parker was talking, and I completely forgot what the fuck it was. But like, I had a legitimate point, and it wasn't a dumb take. On After Dark, baby.
Don't do it.
It's
Siemi Bakayoko. Oh, yeah. Samina Mina. Edward Mende. Samina Mina Sam Sadakte. He comes from Senegal.
And I think going out and get Saul was the top transfer of the market for Chelsea.
Chesney could have been in the shower smoking a cigarette like he was at Arsenal, and we still would not have scored.
My rants have been fueled by Scott. Don't get it twisted.
Big Rom. Man, fuck you.
In Roman we trust, right?
You and me are going to have a battle royale about Jorginho and diving.
The flag stays down.
Okay, proceed. I'm going to be quiet.
No, I really don't remember my point besides Jorginho and another subpar performance. I wouldn't call it up to par by my standards of him. And granted, you know that they are very low.
It wasn't up to my. I mean, I'll be honest.
I
It wasn't his
didn't
best
see
game.
enough out of him. Like, I just saw meh. Yeah, granted, he had a couple good over the top balls, but like when I think of a central defensive midfielder, you're a central defensive midfielder.
But it's not. It like that's the FIFA term for it. But like what we watch isn't FIFA.
Well, but I'm just saying, like, you've always praised him for, oh, he had this many interceptions. How many times did he get blown by easily?
That's just to prove you wrong. I don't really.
Oh, I remember my point.
Oh God.
Wilfred Zaha.
Oh shit.
Yep.
What?
He is the attacking version of Jorginho. Always looking for a foul that he never gets. Always. Look at Jorginho. When he's in trouble, what does he do? He hits the deck faster than you can fucking imagine.
And then you look at Zaha,
he hits the deck all the time and he never gets a foul. They're the same player. They just play different sides of the pitch.
A, he doesn't get a foul because he plays for a little club. Little clubs don't get those fouls.
Neither does Chelsea. Next point.
And B, clip the fucking part of the intro where I say we're gonna have a battle royale about diving in Jorginho, because that's what we're about to do right now.
Yeah,
you
go ahead.
You are so fun. Not that I'm like pro diving, like, oh, we should be diving all over the goddamn place. But it's more productive than the shit we do right now. It's more productive than the, ooh, I'm just gonna kind of jog and like we'll play a through ball and no one will get to it because we're fucking half-assing it. Or Kai Havertz will be running over here and the ball's over there. It's at least something. It's as much as you hate to admit it, it's a part of the game. It's an accepted part of the game. It's accepted by the referees, it's accepted by coaches, it's accepted by players, it's accepted by most people except you. And so it's like, if Zaha comes to Chelsea and if he dives, he will get calls. He won't get penalties because that's just like Chelsea don't get penalties. It'll be ruled off because of offsides on the other side of the pitch. but it doesn't fucking matter if he scores goals. Doesn't matter how many times he's on the deck if he contributes 20 goal assists per year. It doesn't matter. And he has the talent to do that.
Fair. He has to pick himself up off the ground in order to score 20 goals.
Oh my god, if he was on the ground the whole pitch, he wouldn't be. Oh my god, he wouldn't even.
I'm just throwing that out there, and it's not like it's a new player coming into a new league. He knows the league. The officials know him. There's like nothing is going to change in the style of play. I'll give you a great example. Look at your boy, Richarlison.
He's not my.
Yeah, he is. You wanted him all day, left, right, and center.
Because he's better than. I wanted him more than Timo. That's what that was.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We'll track back on that one. But I'm just saying, like, at a certain point, Jorginho's been in the league long enough, right? And I'll go back to the Leeds match. When he tries to do like a little, right over the defender and try and play out of the back. No, that is clear the ball at all costs. Like, that is something that you just instinctively do, right? When you're in that tight of a position, when you have a team pressing you, you just get the ball the hell out of there. But no, he tries to be cute, and it's not the first time that he's done that. And before, when we knew Jorginho as one of the best midfielders in the world, I had my reservations about that, well documented, but he was very good. Now we're seeing like him trying to be too cute with the ball in tight spaces, and then, I'm just going to fall over and hope I get a call. But he's not getting those calls anymore because everybody's picking up on what he does. And that's what annoys me. And I think it's the same thing with Zaha, because even watching a Palace game, he still goes down. He still looks at like, why did I get this call? It's because we know what you're trying to do, and it's not going to happen. That's the biggest issue I have with him. I'm not against signing him. I really am not. I want to sign him for the right reasons and with the right expectations that he's probably going to hit the deck a lot and not get a lot of calls like he has for most of his career.
Do you know Wilfred Zaha has drawn the third most penalties in all of Premier League history?
Well, he's been playing there for fucking long enough.
Doesn't fucking matter. He gets fouls. He gets fouled. You don't get that stat without getting fouled.
I'm not.
By the way, sorry. Another fun fact for you. Did you know he has been fouled the most out of any player in Premier League history?
Yes.
728 times.
Actually, I do know that. And what
is your point? What is your point?
The way that fouls happen nowadays? Have you watched any other Premier League games beside Chelsea?
Actually, yeah.
They let shit go left and right.
That's not but that's not a this year change. That's not a in the last 2 years change. Like I'm seeing the same shit that I saw when they first instituted VAR 5 years ago.
I'm seeing different. Sorry, let me take that back. I'm seeing different based on who's officiating the game. Let's put it that way. The Fulham match, I'm pretty sure somebody got elbow dropped and there wasn't even a call. So I'm all about that. Like, let the boys play. But then you got other officials letter of the law. It's a very subjective thing. I think Zaha gets into a position where he expects the call. So I'm gonna put it in terms, and Collins, you're gonna get pissed, but please don't. I'll explain. I think he gets into a position like Timo, where he expects a call, but it doesn't happen. I think that's where Zaha is shifting to, because again, I've watched plenty of Crystal Palace games. I can't tell you how many times he's gotten yellow carded for dissent, for, oh, somebody like nudged my shoulder and I went down. Like, I just want to be cautious of that, and I just want to kind of set up expectations of what you're going to get. Yes, is he going to draw legitimate fouls? Absolutely. But does he have a reputation? Yes, he does. And I don't think it has to do with what club he has played for.
Well, Wilfred Zaha has 4 yellow cards in the last 2 years. So that's not a lot for a guy who completed the most dribbles in the Premier League over the last 2 years and has been fouled the most in the last 2 years. That's not a lot.
You know what? Sign him. Sign him, sign Mitrovic, sign Jovic, and then we'll talk on this pod. And I'll tell you how much of a fucking idiot you are. And I love you.
Awesome signing. Talk about a bruiser who can, play through.
I absolutely love you, Collins. You dick.
Can we all agree on Mitrovic though?
Yes.
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 Okay. That's good.
Yes, absolutely. Zaha for 20 mil. Yes, I am all on board with that. I just want to be cautious of expectations, because I don't want it to be, well, we signed him and then, holy shit, like 3 weeks later.
Yeah, I don't think it's like, if we're signing him for that amount, that we're expecting him to set the world on fire. It's to be better than what we have, which is not much.
Which right now is, so if we do get Zaha, where does Raz go?
I think he stays central, unfortunately.
And then what happens to Kai?
Still plays on the right.
And then Mount is out, which he should be.
I think Mount probably goes back to the midfield. I think we see more 4-3-3 if that happens.
I would rather have a 4-2-3. Like Collins, you were the one that watched the match like more recently than the both of us. When did you hear his name? When did you see him?
Oh no, somebody sent me a DM and I had a couple replies to our man of the get the fuck out of here. Like, hey, where's Mason Mount? And I was like, I forgot he was on the pitch.
Like, seriously, and it's been what, the 4th game in a row?
But you can say the same thing about Kai Havertz too.
No, because Kai gets touches, but Mount has been just somewhere. I don't know if he's getting a beer in the stands or like what he's doing.
So I just looked up who scored just for the way that they showed the lineup, nothing else, and they had it as a 4-4-2, and the midfield was Loftus-Cheek, Gallagher, then Jorginho, then Mount. And if you told me that Mount was on that left wing, like I had no
Mount was
clue.
on the left.
That's what Who Scores got it listed at. I think it was more of a 4-3-3 than 4-4-2, but I don't know.
Jason Cundy, I was listening to the Fifth Stand and then watched it like after the fact. I think Jason Cundy nailed it. He said it shifted between a 4-3-3 and a 4-2-3-1, depending on what Leicester was doing the other way. And I think that makes a lot of sense.
If Mason Mount needed a beer or a break or
right.
whatever.
But I mean that still puts Mount out on a wing.
But if you're telling me that Zaha could come in and play where Mount played, then yeah, it's an automatic upgrade.
Yeah.
Also, we didn't talk about it at all on this episode, but Loftus-Cheek was our best midfielder by a long shot.
Except that
By a long shot.
fucking sitter.
Still, even considering
no,
the sitter.
I agree.
He was on the ball way too long in that one too, worried leaving the break. And
yeah, but the thing is, like, he's lively, he's controlled aggressive. Like, that's what we want Connor to be. Controlled aggressive. That's what RLC is. And he's got the strength to just body people, which is wonderful to have. He can go on a run and just body past 3 or 4 people, no problem. I love that. I don't like him as a right wing back. I think that we shined better with Dave as a right center back and Reese as that right wing back. Let Reese bomb up and down, and then look what happens. You get that gold Sterling.
Is that? Sorry, go ahead.
Like, to me, Reese is a right wing back. He is not a right center back or anything like that. Granted, we played a 4-4-3, that right back, but he also had to account for Trev, which is a little sketchy at times. I thought he had a decent game. But I would have preferred to see Dave at that right center back, Reese at a right wing back earlier. Because I think that would have alleviated a lot of problems. That would have made us more impotent on the attack side.
Is that Tuchel telling Boley, get me another damn center back? Is that why Reese hasn't played at right wing back this whole time?
I don't think so. Again, if you look at the teams that we've played from the start, and I talked about this in the group chat, like, they're pacey offenses. Leeds, Tottenham, Everton to an extent. And then you look at a team like Leicester, if you do have Harvey Barnes, you do have Jamie Vardy, you do have Iheanacho, like, you need pace back there. Thiago Silva isn't going to be able to keep up with them. Trev is probably going to be caught out of position a couple times, and that might just be enough. You need somebody with physicality and pace, and Dave is not that guy for a full 90. So I think we're kind of at a pass, and you don't have Koulibaly. Ampadu, I don't think could do it. I think it would be very unfair to ask him to do it against Leicester. I think you have to go with Reese back there. But I just think it's just the nature of kind of how we started our season that Reese has to play that right center back position.
I liked our lineup. I thought it was good. Yeah, given the circumstances, it was a change of pace, and I would have loved to see how a 4-3-3 or a 4-4-2, however it kind of shaped out, depending on the situation, how that looks for a full 90. We didn't get that because we had to pivot, and ironically, subbing Mason Mount off for Dave at halftime made us more fluent on offense. That's the telling bit for me. How in the fuck does that happen? Like, and not like for like sub on a defender for better on attack. But we were.
Well, I mean, you're basically subbing on a defender for nobody. So
if anything, you're adding.
yes, addition by subtraction.
Now you're playing with 12 men.
You take Connor off, you take Mount off, you add a Dave, and you're you're better on the attack. Jesus Christ.
So this is a fun little list here, and I'm trying to scroll back to it here. There's only a handful of Russians that have ever played in the Premier League, and most of them are players that, like, if you think about it, like you've heard of or you know of. There are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 Russians to ever play in the Premier League. Sporkle time. How many of them can you name?
I'm out.
Andrei Arshavin,
Harry.
Dinyar Bilyatinov. This one probably don't. Andrei Kanchelskis. He played in the early 2000s. Dmitry Karin played for Chelsea in the 90s. Roman Pavlyuchenko for Spurs. Pavel Pobregniak for Fulham and Reading. Alexei Smirtin played for Chelsea in 2005, and Yuri Zhirkov.
So let me be very clear. I didn't mean strictly Russian. I meant like from the Russian Premier League.
Oh, all of those guys were straight out of the Russian Premier League.
Oh,
Actually, I think Pavel Pobregniak played for like Stuttgart first, I think.
so
But
you
again-
understand why I have my reservations.
I do, but it's the same as signing somebody from Belgium or signing somebody from Austria or Switzerland or whatever. Like, in I don't know, in this day and age, like, not that leagues are fully, transferable, but from what I've seen, this kid's got the like skill itself and like the footballing IQ in terms of like the passes he's making, the runs he's making, that I think it's transferable. Will he be as good as he is in the Premier League or in the Russian Premier League? No, hell no. But 3-4 years down the road, he might look good.
Year-old, you can only do so much in the Russian Premier League, and gonna grow and get better, or he has the ability to. But of course, you can have reservations. I mean, we have reservations from players that come from all over. It doesn't matter that it's Russia. Christian Pulisic has reservations because he's American. What was the last great American striker that's played in the Premier League?
Clint Dempsey.
Josie at Hull City.
Oh, good God.
We have a very bad track record of producing anyone but goalies that play at a high level. So,
Well, if we get him to change his nationality to Armenian, can you name the only Armenian to play in the Premier League?
Riyad Mahrez.
He's like Tunisian or Algerian or some shit.
Oh, that's right. He's Algerian.
Henrik Mkhitaryan.
Really?
Yeah,
Played
he was pretty good.
Arsenal.
Arsenal and
Played
Man U.
Arsenal. Arsenal, Man U, and then before that he was with Dortmund.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there you go. Armenia batting 100%, or
But
batting
I thought he
1,000.
was Turkish.
No, Mesut Ozil was.
Well, but he declared as German.
Right.
Also, Collins, what is your full blown defense on Jorginho this week?
I don't have one. I thought a lot of the team had a very bad game, and I think he was part of that. I would put him at 6, just average.
Parker, for your sake and my sake, what does WhoScored.com have him as?
Who scored? Put him
Over
at
under
6.2.
6.5.
6.2. So Sterling was 8.3, Kai was 6.1, Mount was 6.5, which is a joke to me because I thought Jorginho had a much better game than Mount. Connor's a 5, which is probably as low as this ranking goes. Loftus-Cheek was a 6.8, Reece James at 8.1, Trev was a 6.3, Thiago 7.6, or a 10 in my heart. Cucurella was a 6.8, and Mendy was a 7.7.
I would put Connor above Mount. Me personally, yeah, because at least you knew that Connor was on the pitch.
Yeah, but he got sent off.
That's
He
not how
still
these
had
ratings
more-
work.
He still had more impact than Mason Mount did in the 30
Mount-
minutes he was on the pitch.
But Mason Mount stayed on. he allowed us to make a sub, so therefore he ranked higher.
And that's the sad part.
What is
Connor
that?
had more of an impact in 30 minutes than Mason had in 45.
Is that Allstate commercial where it's a bunch of old ladies with like their Facebook wall? And this lady goes, I unfriend you. The other old lady goes, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
It's
That's
probably
hilarious.
an Allstate
Yeah.
commercial. Sounds like one.
So good.
But
I mean,
no, I would honestly put Connor above Mason. Like I
I get your
really
point.
would.
I get your point, but it's
I know it's based on, oh well, he got a red card. Yeah, but who do you remember more? Like of doing anything productive? Not even a red card, not even 2 yellows. Who do you remember do anything more productive? Like
I
you
remember-
Connor in the first 20.
I remember Edward Mendy the most from the Leeds match. So does he get a 10?
Mario Balotelli would win every single man of the match award.
Do you remember a single touch that Mason Mount had?
I'm looking this up. Hold, please.
I rest my case. You have to look it up.
Where
I
is he?
remember early in like
Mason Mount
fourth-
had one key pass, 75% pass accuracy, one aerial one, 27 touches. Conor Gallagher had 0 key passes, 86.2% pass accuracy, 0 aerials, 35 touches.
Mason Mount had 3 tackles compared to 1 for Connor and 1 interception compared to 0.
First of all, Connor had that bruising one like the first 5 minutes, which was wonderful. Like Connor just gets after it. Like I love him for that. And that's what we need, right? Like when you don't have a Kova or anything like that, yeah, you need somebody like that. RLC is not going to do that. I personally think that, granted, we're comparing 30 minutes and a red card versus 45 minutes and getting subbed off.
At least he allowed us to get subbed off.
Like,
Am I allowed to call this a dumb take?
no, like you suck that bad that we didn't even bring on an attacker. We brought on a defender because you suck that much that we're like, yeah, we're just gonna take off the attack and just bring on somebody for the defensive.
The only thing I'm going to agree with you, Matt, is I think 6.5 is high for Mace. I think that is a high rating comparative to his teammates, and he should have been closer to Connor. However, the fact that you get sent off after a third of the match, that is not doing your job at all, and you are putting your team at a complete detriment.
I agree. I agree with the grand understanding of how those ratings come to be.
So Matt, how about this comparison? Kai Havertz versus Mason Mount. Without I know Parker read off what everybody's ranked here, but just off the top of your head, without us throwing any stats at you, who had the better match?
Kai.
Why?
Not even a question. I think that Kai was at least making runs. Yeah, his first touch was absolute dog shit, especially in the first half, which you can say the same thing about Raz, right? His first touch was atrocious. Yeah, but Kai's hold-up play was meh, but he's not a hold-up play type of player, like, right? So Collins, that gets back to your point. He's playing out of position.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, he's doing that. I don't think Mace is playing out of position. He's played in that role long enough. And I know you're going to come back with the same thing with Kai. But Mace has played in that role long enough where he knows what to do and knows how to operate. Kai, I think, is just a ROM replacement in the sense that he is just a target man. He is just somebody to go to a big body and then try and link up and hope for the best. If he gets an opportunity, fine. But that's kind of the way that I look at Kai right now. I think I'm seeing him running, like at least trying to close down people more than I have before. So he's at least given some sort of a shit more than Rom did. But honestly, I don't know. I don't think I heard Mason's name more than 2 times in the first half.
Kai Havertz is, and I don't know why. It's like all of a sudden this just like clicked in my mind after rewatching the game Sunday. Timo Havertz. Timo Werner left. No, actually that fits into what I'm about to say. Timo Werner left and Kai Havertz became Timo. Kai's bad now. He just runs for no reason. Again, there's that stat of, he makes the most runs into the box, like, or whatever the fucking stat was, out of any player in the Premier League, but he's got no goals. As a team going into this week, we had 4 chances created on the season, according to the Premier League stats. Like, he's not doing anything productive. He's just passing the so-called eye test for people, like, he's running. He's like, he did this, he did that. He was offside 3 times against Leicester. 3. That's amazing.
One was very, very, very close. The goal built up with super close.
I still highly contest because I watched the Liverpool United game and there was a call where Liverpool scored and they went to VAR. I'm like, he is so offsides. Like, how is this even a question? Nope, clean. And then I look at this one and it's like, yeah, he's onside. Like, it's not even close. Nope, VAR says that he's offside. I'm like, what fucking angles are you guys getting? Because this one was, and if you look at like the striping on the pitch, it was way past. Like the attacker, I forgot who it was for Liverpool, but they were way past. And it has to be a part of your body that you can legally score with. His knee was past the striping. The defender, nothing was past the striping. Yeah, good goal. How? Like, I don't understand what they do for that. And I thoroughly believe that Kai was not offsides in that build up to the first goal. But sorry to digress that point.
No, you're good. I didn't really have a point there, other than it's now Kai Werner or Timo Havertz.
One of his offsides was inexcusable. Just
yes,
very bad run.
Although I did like the one where he was clearly offsides and then he just came back, like hustled back just to blast the ball out. I did like that.
Yeah, that was one of them.
I was a fan of that.
That was some shithousery, which I'm a fan of. But Collins, you're not wrong. And I think back of when it was Cobra Kai and he was in such brilliant form, and that's why I said it earlier. Like there is a brilliant footballer in there. And I just don't know how to unlock it. I don't know what we can do, what situations we can put him in, because it seems like he's lost all confidence. It's starting to feel kind of like how Christian feels, where we saw the brilliance for a spell, but we've also had now a larger enough sample size to say, was that a flash and not his true form? Kind of lucky streak of what happened and the circumstances about it and who we see on a week in and week out basis. That's the real version of these guys.
So have we had a large enough sample size of Christian? That would be my question, because if you, and Collins, I know you're going to look this up. If you look at how many times that he's started versus how many times he's come on as a sub, I don't know if there's a big enough sample size, because I only know him as coming on as a sub. I don't know him starting that much.
Hold, please. It's like a 60-40 split. He starts more than he's on as a sub. And this is going back to 2019.
Okay. And what can you get a breakdown of his of his numbers when he starts versus when he subs?
No, I can't.
What good are you?
Need to either pay a stat guy or a fact checker or a producer on this show.
I think he's featured enough though in a Chelsea form to. He's had plenty of opportunities. There's more guys that have had far fewer opportunities than Christian has. That we've made judgments on.
And I kind of think the opposite, only because he comes on in, like, at least recently within the last year, he's come on within like the last 30 minutes of a match.
Don't do it.
I'm not gonna call him that. I'm just saying he's come on in like the last 30 minutes of a match. And if you give him full trots out for a full game, I'm not saying results are going to be different, but I think that it would portray a better sample of what he can or cannot do.
Here, he's featured in all 4 matches this year. Here are his
total minutes.
All as a sub. Well, hold on. Just all as a sub. Here are his ratings: 648, 592, 595, 585.
First of all, whoscored.com doesn't mean shit on this pod. Next.
I'll go somewhere else, but I'm sure the numbers are going to be similar because he
Okay.
because
nope.
name a memorable Christian moment from those matches.
I'll do you one better. Name me when he came into those matches.
Okay, he got 25 minutes against Everton.
And what was the score?
I don't fucking know. I'm just reading
that guy.
What were we up 1-0? I don't know.
Yeah, and against Everton, we scored in the 45th minute.
There you go. He played 5 minutes against Spurs. He played 26 minutes against Leeds. Did a whole lot to change that result.
That was a lost
in
cause,
fact,
but actually he did a lot more than anybody else on the pitch during that match. But yeah, go ahead.
That says a whole lot. Really does.
I'm just saying.
And then he got 15 minutes against Leicester. So hold on. Have we conceded twice in the 75 minutes he's been on the pitch?
Oh, so you're going to blame an attacker?
No.
You're going to blame an attacker for letting up goals.
I'm not blaming him at all, but I'm saying in terms of a game changer, the numbers show that he changes the game for the other team.
A bad plus minus for him, is what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah, Tottenham scored on us.
It's his fault. No.
Oh, what is it? 3 goals then? Because he came on and it was 2-0 against Leeds.
Yeah, Leeds would have scored when, I don't remember.
Leeds scored their third. Did Spurs? Yeah, Spurs scored in the
Harry
last.
Kane scored in the 94th minute.
Yeah, so then Spurs scored and Leicester scored.
So you're
And
gonna
then Leicester, but yeah.
and I completely understand the route that you're going. But you're really gonna throw that on one person?
No, I just said that I'm not. It's just he comes on and the other team scores. That I'm just making a correlation. I'm not saying causation.
There's a difference.
There is.
And I'm just
But we've seen 2 seasons prior with Christian. Seen a lot of Christian play.
yeah, but
The
it's
one that
been-
I watch.
but it's been on and off. Like nothing has been constant.
But mainly because of injuries. But when he's healthy, he plays. Like he has been in the past 2 years one of our featured players that's gotten consistent minutes
Well,
when
he
he's healthy.
better be playing over Mount. He better be next week.
You think you will?
With as stubborn as Tuchel is, no. Do I want to see Christian play? Yes. And I think he is the better option, depending on who do we play next week.
Got Southampton on Tuesday.
He'll play because it's a quick turnaround. He's not going to play because of merit.
Depending on what happens with Ziyech.
Different position.
On the right?
Tuchel plays Puli-Sick down that left.
He plays Raz down the left.
He plays Raz centrally. We just talked about this.
No, not last game. Kai is in the middle and Raz is down the left.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I watched the game more recently than that.
Yeah. Raz was primarily on the left.
Also, just for reference, Puli-Sick over the last 2.5 years has played over 100 games for Chelsea. Started more than 60 of those. Collective rating here looks to be about a 6.2, 6.3. So bang average.
Again, I don't think it's worth a shot of throwing them out there over Mason Mount right now.
You can't say 60 starts isn't a big enough sample size.
60 starts, correct.
And 40 features.
I mean, it depends on when the features are, right? Like if he's coming on for 5 minutes, right? Like
No, that's fair. I mean, you could probably throw out 7 or 8 of them.
I could probably throw out 15 of them.
Hold please, I can get his minutes per game.
Oh, wonderful.
But regardless, the 60 starts are 60 starts.
Right. And again, you look at injuries and things like that, like, yes, I do think that there's more in him. Yes, I understand why people are saying like he's a bust, but I just don't know if we've gotten the full scope of what he can do when he is healthy for an entire season. And I think that's a big telltale of what he can do.
I think that's a good argument if we're Crystal Palace or if we're Bournemouth or like, but this is Chelsea. He's had 1, 2, 3. This is now his 4th year. He's had over 100 appearances. He has over 60 starts. He has over 6,000 minutes for the club. He has shown enough. He has shown enough to show that he's not Chelsea quality. And the whole fucking ESPN, oh, he has the highest XG per 90. Like, cool, the guy played half the matches. Like, that statistically, it doesn't mean shit. Like, he should have been ruled out of that stat. Like, the minimum should have been higher on that, because now you're including 3/4 of the players in the league. Like, Pulisic isn't to Chelsea's level. I agree that, maybe it's better than playing Mace, but Mace has shown more consistency in that same 3 years. He has shown higher highs and higher lows than what Pulisic has shown.
Past 2 years, yeah, I agree with that. My whole point, Matt, was just the fact that it's frustrating as a fan to look at Pulisic, because I know that there is a great player in there. And same with Kai. I mean, that's the whole thing. I know that he can be that, but you said we need to see him with a full season without an injury. I don't know if that's possible, and that might not be possible. Like, there just might not be that full season that we get from him that is injury free.
So just look at, I know you don't give a shit about who scored, but over the sample size, this is going to be more accurate than onesie twosie. 2020, between Premier League and Champions Leagues in the 7s, high 6s, mid 6s, low 6. He's on a downward trajectory. And honestly, you can throw out this season here, because that's the COVID season. That's Project Restart, where he is the anomaly. It's not good. And I honestly think the fact that he's American gives kind of a false bias towards him.
We were going to be talking about Pulisic on this debate, so that was fun.
Pot of dark,
What about
baby.
shitting on Kai?
Did I mention how shit a defender Jorginho is?
You're right. He's not a good defender.
Oh, no, Collins, you can't say that. You would always tell me about how many interceptions he had.
Yeah,
passes,
statistically, he's a great defender.
Statistically, yeah,
which is always my argument.
He's good, and statistically, my eyes tell me that he fucking sucks.
Maybe your eyes need to get fucking checked.
No, they actually were recently. Fun fact. No, he does the Italian version of the stanky leg called the lazy leg. Just and then I'm out of position. I'm gonna jog back and hope my defense picks my ass up.
I'm gonna.
He's just fucking old. Like, he's old. He's fucking lazy. It annoys the shit out of me to the nth degree. I understand what he does. I'm going to be very clear. I understand what he does. He is that pivot person. He does everything that he needs to do. Center backs, wing backs, like, he's doing all of that. I understand that. He's got to change up play. He's got to make the back passes, the side passes. I get that. I've never seen a player be lazier than defense and ask for more fouls in my lifetime. It is absolutely ridiculous. The goal that he gave up against Leeds. Oh, I expected a foul.
We already had this
You
argument.
just fucking fell. But the thing is, he does that all the time whenever he's in trouble. Doesn't matter where he is. And then he's like, why did I get a foul? Because everybody knows that's what you do. It's not a surprise anymore. Like, get the fuck up, clear the ball out of the zone, and go from there. I would ask him to play defense, but that's not very high in his priority list. So
Yes, he does those things. Well, I don't have a rebuttal to you. Like, but all I did was read stats off to you one time.
well, no, it's just been the fact that I hate him.
But
And the whole-
it's like,
Sorry, go ahead, Bert.
no, I was just gonna say it feels like a lot of our team has these like positives, but then like Achilles heels. I don't know how to pluralize that. Edouard Mendy, great shot stopper, horrendous distributor of the ball. Literally booted a goal kick, 30 yards out of bounds yesterday. And gave up the goal against Leeds. Just terrible decision maker in pressure situations with the ball at his feet, with the ball at his feet. Marcus Alonso, great example. Prolific attacker, scorer of goals, not the best defender on the planet, right? I mean, Jorginho does a lot of positives for us. And Matt, you say you see them. I don't think you always do. And I don't think you understand like the importance of his role, as you don't give it as much vocal credit maybe, because you're right. Like, he didn't have his best game. I thought he didn't, but I think he's in a position where you notice the mistakes more than you notice the good stuff, moment by moment basis. And he does do a lot of positives to help us, put us in win. And I see that most when I watch games that he doesn't play, because there are times where we have a different lineup, like a Conte and Kova lineup, and I miss him. I miss what he brings to the team, even though those are two prolific midfielders as well. Usually it doesn't happen with those two. It's usually when like an RLC gets put in the position or someone else, right? But anywho, I digress. Our team has a lot of those dudes where they've got great highs and then low lows, and we try to split or find the difference between the two and figure out how you rank them and how you rate them. Not an easy thing.
And
that's why we talk about it.
And obviously, I look at Jorginho under a microscope, right? Like, I always do. I always have. I didn't think he was FIFA's number 3 midfielder, player of the year, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I see the good that he does for us. But as somebody that experienced, your negatives get emphasized even more, right? Like, if you're at this top, your negatives get emphasized ever so slightly and to an extreme extent. And you look at that with any pro sport, anything like that, right? And the thing that I'm seeing with Jorginho is more mistakes than I expected, or more mistakes that I have seen out of somebody at that caliber. And for me, that's hard to fathom when, you're looking at somebody who is supposed to be on this pedestal, and then, you see a small mistake, another small mistake, another mistake. And unfortunately, a lot of them lead to goals. And I'm not talking about the one against Leicester. I'm talking like the one against Leeds. Like that was bad. Like he was trying to be too cute and just in the own box when everybody was there. Like get rid of the ball. Like
That's
that's
Tottenham fuck up was worse, to be honest.
what's up.
I thought his Tottenham fuck up was worse.
Was it Tottenham or Leeds?
Tottenham.
Oh yeah, that was the one they were tried to play it in the box.
Yeah, you tried to play it out.
Yeah.
And got
Yep.
picked off. and that
Yep.
was
Sorry,
the
I
first ball.
got the wrong game. But yeah, that one, like, threw the ball. Like, what are you trying to do? Like, give him a throw in. Fine. Like, but the thing is, they happen more frequently than we're used to. And before he was sound, like you couldn't get anything past him. And now you see mistake after mistake after mistake, and they're costly mistakes.
So I'm not disagreeing with you, but let me play devil's advocate here, because I think this is if I'm being 100% honest, I think this is huge bias from you. I think if you take the face and the name away from the player, I don't think this is as big of a deal. But you look at the other side of the pitch, one of your favorite players, N'Golo Kante. You see the same fuck ups from him every week that he plays up in attack. Same fuck ups every week. And it's costly. It costs us goals, which in some instances cost us wins. It's a misplayed pass. It's a terrible touch. It's a god awful shot that, goes for a throw in instead of a corner. But it's week in and week out, and a player of his caliber, you just you don't expect it, right? What's the difference? Is it because one's black?
Actually, no, he's French. But
No.
no, I've been very clear that I don't like N'Golo Kante in attack. I think his distribution is poor. I think that when he moves forward and is in the attack, that he is not a good option. I do like the press that he has in attack, but I think he's more served on the defensive side of the ball. So I think that is a completely different.
But there are things that you like about Jorginho's game, right?
There are some things that I like about it.
Just like there are some things you like about N'Golo Kante's game.
Yeah,
it's the same thing. It's costly errors at both sides
than
of the pitch.
Jorginho.
What?
N'Golo Kante is a better midfielder than Jorginho. Kova is a better midfielder than Jorginho. Jorginho is our third best midfielder.
I'm not asking you to rank anybody. I'm just saying.
No, I'm telling you my rank.
We're talking about game-changing errors, and
our attack can't score regardless. So who gives a shit who's up in attack? I'm talking about on the defense.
I'm saying it's a similar scenario that is being glossed over because he's not Jorginho.
No, I really don't think it is. Like, I've been very clear that N'Golo Kante is not good in the attack going forward. Like,
right, but you don't
not Jorginho.
But you don't dedicate 45 minutes every single week to complaining about it.
I got you. No, I completely understand. When you look at somebody like N'Golo Kante, whose job is to pester the attack, right? He's not supposed to be in the attack. He's supposed to stop the attack high up. Jorginho
involved in the attack, though.
I don't like him involved in the attack. I'm just saying.
It doesn't matter what you like, though. You're not managing the team.
No shit. I don't get paid enough to manage a goddamn team. What I am saying is N'Golo Kante used to be that center mid, central defensive mid with Leicester. Right now, he is playing in an attacking position just to disrupt the other team. So he's playing a defensive position, or he's playing a defensive role in an attacking position. Jorginho's role has not changed. It hasn't. But now we're seeing more mistakes out of him.
From a Chelsea perspective, N'Golo Kante's role hasn't changed. Since he's gotten here, he's been in that attacking role. Why hasn't he figured it out? Why does he keep costing us goals? That motherfucker.
Because he's not a fucking attacking midfield.
And Jorginho's not a defensive midfielder. He's a holding midfielder. He's a
then
pivot.
why hasn't he
this
figured
isn't
it the fuck
FIFA.
out? Then why hasn't he figured it out?
Well, all I'm trying to say is that it's no. All I'm trying to say is that this is the same thing, but we don't dedicate 45 minutes every week to talking about N'Golo Kante.
Because N'Golo Kante is N'Golo Kante. Jorginho is.
N'Golo Kante's a cripple. That's what he is.
So is Jorginho. Have you seen him out there trying to
Jorginho
play
shows up
defense?
every week. Jorginho's on the pitch every week. I'm not saying he's better, but
Yeah, have you seen him
goddamn,
try to play defense? He has to strap his leg up with duct tape just to try and make a fucking poke at a ball.
the dude also
Better
plays through
defense
injury,
than,
unlike N'Golo Kante.
Yeah, he played better defense than N'Golo Kante did last week. Because he was out there. And apparently all you have to do is show up to get rated by who scored.
Just like Mason Mount.